Hello, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and welcome to Tales Unlimited. Today's battery prompt is number 79. You don't know this, but any story you write becomes reality. What sucks is that you like writing monster fiction. Okay. Whew, I would say this began a long time ago. One of your ancestors, also a writer. In between, no writers. Nobody in your family. They even don't mention this guy, don't even know this guy. But say in the 1800s, you had an ancestor who wanted to become a writer, and this ancestor might have actually done something good for somebody, and then somebody's like, whatever you write happens. Um, Wherever you go, whatever you do, if you put your heart and soul into it, you'll bring it to life. And he stops writing fiction and just starts writing a journal of things to come. So he starts writing tomorrow's journal and it comes to pass. So he literally controls his own future for the rest of his life, dies a rich man. And let's say your family actually did well for a while, but then the money petered away. Now you're just, you're middle class, but you used to be old money. And it was because of him. And no one tells you this because he didn't tell anybody this. So now fast forward, here's the thing though, the power stayed in the bloodline. And every so often someone would write a short story and just for like class or something, and something would happen, but since they couldn't control it, it would randomly just spurt off somewhere. So now it comes to you, and you like writing monster fiction of stories of monsters doing this, monsters doing that. The kaiju story, the genetic freak story. You're a bullied kid, you have a hard time in high school, making friends. So those folks expected you to maybe do your own comic book. You have such an imagination, but you can't draw. You suck at drawing. So you become a writer. And as you're writing these stories and you're getting into it, that old family power kicks in. And it's not a curse. It's supposed to be a blessing, but in your hands. So you've been writing these stories about, a monster, and you spent some time overseas. Let's say your dad, yeah, you grew up an army brat. That's why you can write about other places you hated. I mean, the kids treated you like crap because you're the American kid, da da da, and you hated these places. So you drew monsters and let them run wild. You did all the gargoyle attacks, da da da, and so you make it back to the U.S. Your dad's retired. You're grounded. You're in one spot, and you love it. And you're just writing these stories just for the heck of it. And then one day you're looking at CNN and that looks like one of mine. And someone's like doing a special on all these monsters attacks in every place you've ever lived. And you're like, what the hell? And so you stop and the attacks stop. And then you slowly play with your power. You play with your power, da, 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 and you don't know what to do with it. Fast forward 20 years, you know what to do with it. Your dad insists that you get into the army, family business maybe, because you can't seem to really do anything else. Doesn't want you to be a writer, give up this writing thing. He's like, okay, Dad, I'll get into the army, sure. So you get into the military, you see the world, you get to know people, good guys, bad guys, and you figure out how to draw your own future, and oh, the things you might do for yourself. And I would just stop it there, basically saying, you know what? Like someone's like, hey, Sarge, you think you're gonna get that promotion? As you're journaling, it's like, yeah, I think I'll get that promotion just fine. And what about that warlord? You think we're gonna find him? Maybe, maybe not. But basically, it starts off with monster fiction, but it ends with, like your ancestor, you figure out how to work your power, and the world becomes a slightly better place. Who do you think is gonna win the next election? What do you think is gonna happen with all that debris in space? And you just start writing stories. Huh. How else would you do it? You do it from the perspective of some profiler puts this together that all these stories are coming from someone's imagination because, well, this profiler's a fan of the author of these stories. And they basically backtrack them, and maybe The intention was, not accidental. It was very, very ruthless. This person's actually saying, okay, you will give me money or power or something or else I'll write more stories. Ha ha. Ha. Like he's crazy. And he's literally writing these from a mental asylum and then he breaks out. Or maybe it's not monster fiction that you like writing as you're unleashing these upon the world, but maybe you like writing erotica, like satirical, political erotica. Like, oh, insert political figures over here, and as they're like debating each other, the they both hear this soft romantic music that's only in their heads, and next thing you know, they're making out on stage, and everyone's like, whoa, aren't they married to other people? What the heck? I mean, or you actually have somebody who can join a superhero team in costume, a lot of armor, because people tend to shoot at her because she literally can make up a story on the fly. They call her improv. And as she's calling the story, it's almost like the reality around her merges to make that story happen. Like, wow, you guys are about to set off a bomb, but what if you, instead of, packing C4, you had Play-Doh? Wouldn't that just be a sad thing? No. And everyone just gangs up on the person who's like, aha, detonate the, what is this stuff? This is Play-Doh. How'd that happen? A reality manipulator. Of course, you have to throw in the appropriate limitations, like it induces tumors or it's a coveted power to the point where people are trying to kidnap her. You know the drill. But yeah, different ways to write this. All right, I'm going to stop here. I'm Marcus V. Calvert. This is Tales Unlimited. Please check out talesunlimited.net. That's where the podcast and the book links are. The podcasts are the Batchery Daily Prompt and a Disturbing Thought of the Day. They go off every day. As for the books, hit the links. They'll take you to Amazon, and they're available in print ebook. So what are these books about? Well, the Batchery series is about 200 writing prompts and a system on how to write a novel. And if you follow this system, challenging, but if you follow it through, you'll be able to write books, sell them, make money, build your business, build your fan base while you're working on that first novel. And there's also material there for any storyteller of basically any type of way of telling a story. Because 200 writing prompts, unusual writing prompts can be useful to game designers, evil GMs, short story writers, screenwriters, comic book writers, and even veteran novelists who don't need a system for writing books, but might need a new idea for their next series. Well, 200 writing prompts per book. How can that not be useful? Also, anthologies, 2 series. They're both New School Twilight Zone, 25 stories to a book, and themes are unlikely heroes saving the day. That's unheroic. Something like Past Due. What if you're a repo guy who collects from folks who buy gadgets but rack up a bill and they don't pay their bills? Well, your next client is about to take over the world and you don't care about any of that. Just, where's my money? How's it turn out? That's the unlikely hero. The second series is the Book of Schemes. Diabolical, twisted, la la la. So, there's this company in China that sells diet pills. You are basically a marketing guy in the US who's basically bringing in these diet pills and doing a marketing campaign. You heard there was some sort of recall, and so the whole thing flopped, but you got paid for it, so no one sued you, so all's well that ends well. Well, one of the clients for this diet pill stalks you in your bathroom with a shotgun, missing half his face. And oh, his story is dark on what these pills do. I'm not going to spoil, but it's just wrong. All right, and then iVillain. Think Sin City with superpowers, told from the perspective of Benjamin Clyde, gentleman fixer, dude in a suit. Pay this guy enough money and his small army of mercenaries. Think Legion of Doom, because a lot of these people have superpowers. They're supervillains, but they're also experts like hackers, thieves, forgers, you name it. And they pull miracles out throughout the world for any side of the law. Anybody who needs a problem solved, they come to him. Until one night, he's forced to give up his multi-billion-dollar empire, fire everybody, loses all of his assets, and he's told, you're going to fight crime in a place worse than Gotham. Skip a night, you die. Leave town, you die. Anyone helps you, they die. And since he's got a burger gut and little else of a past, no reputation, they figure the streets are going to kill him quick. Doesn't happen that way, because he buried his past, his Black Ops past, the one with superpowers. And now he's got to step out of retirement and fight crime. And as he's fighting street crime, he occasionally saves the world. And as he's saving the world, he's realizing there's a market in saving the world. So he builds a new firm called iVillain, and they go after the worst and only the worst. Like if you're kidnapping children, if you're blowing up buildings, we don't care. If you're trying to reestablish the British Empire, that means you have enough money to be worth our time. All right, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and this is Tales Unlimited. See you tomorrow.